Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
"11. The magic number is 11. Welcome. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, and we are at 11 hours from crossing that magical 4,000 watch hour in the 12-month roaming period. Algorithm, formula, pull it out of their butts kind of number that YouTube runs on people before I guess we get a certificate or something and we win an award, or we achieve a level, or achievement unlocked. That's exactly what it is. And 11 is also the magic number because it is the number of days left that you can get Fiendish from Irene Strychalski here. Irene, how are you tonight?
I'm good. Hi. Thanks for having me on.
Glad to have you on. You're such a bright ray of sunshine at this time of night. I mean, we've been working all day. We're tired. It's Monday. And you're just coming here all smiles and brightness.
Well, but I'm going to talk about comics. Of course I'm excited.
We love to talk about comics. Captain Cockney Spock is in the chat. Welcome, sir. Welcome. And as I said, you got 11 days left on this campaign.
Yes, exciting.
And you're funded. You are like 271% funded.
Oh, yeah. We were funded on like the first 4 days. So... I mean, of course I was hoping to get more, but I was like, okay, I'm just going to set like the bare minimum for what I need, but we're immediately funded, which is awesome. So now we're just trying to aim for those stretch goals.
Absolutely. Now, this is your second crowdfunded campaign on Indiegogo. Did you crowdfund elsewhere? I mean, what's your crowdfunding history, your resume?
This is my second crowdfunding campaign ever, and I started on Indiegogo. Multiple reasons. I like the the flexible funding, and also I was overseas when I did my first campaign, which is for my art book Regrowth, which you can also get through the Fiendish campaign as an add-on, by the way.
There you go.
Yes, and I know Kickstarter is somewhat of a bigger platform, but also they wouldn't let my location. They wouldn't let people in my location fund for some reason. They have like limited countries that they allow campaigns in, which is very weird. So, I feel like it seems like there are a lot more people doing comics on Indiegogo as opposed to Kickstarter. So it worked out for me the first time with the art book, and I stuck with it. I like it.
Everybody finds their own crowd. Now, some of them find it on Indiegogo, and some of them find it on Kickstarter. And from what I've heard, there are, of course, people like Tim Lim who take both platforms and just make a killing on each one.
Oh, yeah. We can only hope. If only I could do that.
But I've talked with some, like I talked with the folks who did Miskatonic High. This is a Kickstarter book. And they said after they did it on Kickstarter, they took it over to Indiegogo, and it fell flat. They had nothing. Nobody knew them. And everyone on Kickstarter was like, hey, where are you guys at for the next book? So they just stayed with Kickstarter.
Interesting.
I've heard the same thing from people who've done Indiegogo. They don't do well on Kickstarter after a while.
Interesting. I never looked into that, but
dance with the one who brought you, I guess. So
that's true. Yeah, stick with your audience.
So are you doing? Would you say better or about equal on this campaign than you did on your first one?
Oh, I'm doing a lot better. I mean, I also set a much lower goal for my first one, but the first one was also, I think, as an art book, and I'm not like a super famous artist, so it was more of just the people that already followed me. that that like my art, but it was like a collection of drawings is different than something with a story. And I think the fact that I was creating something with a story and like a whole world, and this is a serialized, this is just chapter one of a much larger franchise, and the story that I'm building, that garners a lot more interest, and that's what's like people really latch onto. So
yeah, art books work well.
When you're already famous.
Yeah, well, and that, the Jack Kirby art book is going to, just, book of Jack sketches. Sure, I'll buy that. $300, steal.
Yeah.
But yeah, on crowdfunding, somebody that people might not have heard of, they don't know that you've officially drawn Gwenpool, for crying out loud. Come on, it's.
No, they don't. I mean, and you're selling like what they see in front of them, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, is this good? Am I going to buy it? Yeah.
Well, what we have in front of us now is Fiendish.
Yay!
And before I let you tell me all over again, but we'll tell the new people the story again. Before I do that, we will play the video.
Yeah. All right.
Here we go. Crazy high-speed internet, isn't it?
I know. Is it struggling a bit? I can play it from my side. Yeah. Thank you, Herenberg. I'm looking at the comments and got a little plug there.
Herenberg is our bestest wrench ever.
Awesome.
And he's faster than Google. So as we come across things in the chat that are questionable, just wait 3 minutes and the answer will show up in the chat, and Herenberg will be the guy who delivered it.
Amazing.
I look at your characters that you draw, and I don't know if you're familiar with Linda Medley.
No, I'm not.
She did a book called Castle Waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, when was that? It was from Fantagraphic Books, and I'm just going to pull up a picture of her style, and I don't know why it reminds me of this. Sometimes I just see things and I'm like, yeah, that looks like this kind of person's artwork, and we look at it like, why? I'm like, I don't know. It's just the first thing that came to my mind when I looked at something, and I'll just stick with it.
Yeah, you never know what your work will remind people of. I mean, interesting.
And I think it's because of the thicker lines on the outlines of the characters, because your characters had a sort of a thick line. Of course, it was also a medieval kind of story too, but medieval with a buzzard butler for whatever he was.
Right, very interesting. I mean, I see the detail though, like the detail in it. I do love detail a lot.
You do.
So
yours is more detailed at a manga kind of level too. The facial expressions are more anime friendly, I guess.
Yeah, I have a pretty big manga influence, and in art school I was told I need to throw it away, but I have learned to wear it proudly. And I grew up in Taiwan. I'm from like that's what I grew up around. And like the manga that I gravitated towards was like seinen manga, like Berserk and Vagabond and Akira and Gunum. So it's not like what most people think of when they think of manga and anime, which is shonen, but it's my influence and I'm going to embrace it, especially for this comic, because I'm putting all my influences, everything I love to draw into this work.
Well, they told you to drop it. It's not going anywhere. The fact that the top 20 comic books in America right now were all manga books.
Yeah, I must be doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. So
the sales speak for themselves. So
that was a bit of a wake-up call, I would hope, this week. When that sales report comes out and it's like, where's DC and Marvel? 21, 22, somewhere down there.
I think it's been like that for a while. Manga's been just slaughtering everything left and right for months.
Oh, yeah. Well, what was it? Demon Slayer, that last issue?
Oh, gosh.
80 million.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's
80
unreal.
million in Japan.
I think that one book was bigger than all the American comic book sales, wasn't it?
Exactly. And there's 130 million people in Japan. If you sold 80 million copies, 40 million people don't have it, and they're probably in cradles, which means that everyone from a taxi driver to the butcher to the CEO has got a copy of Demon Slayer in their office that they're reading.
Yep, they're doing something right.
And here if we had a copy of Superman or Spider-Man sitting in a boss's office, it'd be like, oh, do you have your kid in here?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I have thoughts about superhero comics, but I'm not gonna get into it. I love the medium of comics, but I didn't grow up with superhero comics, so I don't really feel one way or the other about it. It doesn't really appeal to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that was a stigma to comics in America, was that it wasn't so much the container as much it was the content, and we used the container to deliver a lot of content that was aimed at the juvenile market. And it wasn't really until the 90s that they started aiming again at an adult audience, when you started getting the Vertigo and the Fantagraphics and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but now they ended that. I don't know why DC ended Vertigo. I mean, I was like upset. The only time I was upset about anything with doing mainstream comics was when they ended Vertigo. So why did you do that? It was really good.
Yeah. The Karen Berger era was the best of Vertigo, and then it ended, and then they brought it back, but they brought it back with they just didn't vet the writers and the artists on that one, and it just kind of killed itself. Pop Culture Avenger in the chat back this several weeks ago got the Plasma perk.
Oh yes, thank you so much. Yes, I remember. Pop Culture Avenger pops into some of the other streams I'm on as well. Thank you so much. So promise you will love your Demon Plaque.
I was gonna say that's got the standee in it, doesn't it?
That's got the standee and the Demon Plaque, which I have an example of here.
That's why I put you back on the big screen.
I have learned to have these handy right next to me. So these are the handmade wooden plaques that come with the Plasma perk.
Nice.
And that is a $100 perk. So here are a couple of them. These are final, except I have to kind of seal them so the wood is protected. But I'm getting started on it because I already have I have 22 orders of them so far. So let me show a couple more. I've done a little batch of them. Here's another one, little 3 eyes over here. But these are all one of a kind. They're made with pyrography, so it's wood burning, and they're kind of half burned, but kind of carved into the wood as well. Because you use if you've seen pyrography, it's like this very high heat metal nib, and you can kind of burn and carve into the wood a little. So,
yeah, I've got a wood burning kit at home.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. So
I never use it. But
it was just sitting there for a long time because I'm so busy with other stuff. But I was like, I need an excuse to do this again because I do a ton of other craft stuff. And I was like, instead of just doing original art on paper like most other people, I could do something special for my campaign. So that's what I decided to do.
I got it because I was like, look at the box, look at that beautiful calligraphy, look at those designs. I can do that. And I get my first card. It looks like, Tom loves Becky. And like the Tom Sawyer, like trying to dig it into the wood and it's spreading out. You know what? I should have figured if I can't draw something with a pencil, why in the world did I think I could draw something with flame?
Oh boy! Well, the nice thing is you can get stencils, I think. So if you get stencils and heat tips, you can just stamp wood.
Yeah, I guess you have to get metal.
Yeah, metal.
Oh, and of course, the nibs, they're different patterns and different textures.
Yeah.
So you can do. Here's the first thing you learn. Once you've drawn it with like the thin nib, and you're saying, okay, I want to put some texture on it. Wait an hour, because if you just say, let's screw this thing off, it's hot.
Oh my! Yeah, that's not good.
Listed my thumb and my finger.
Oh gosh!
I wasn't.
Oh, well, my pyrography tool came with a little metal clip thing to help you take the nibs off. Yours didn't have that?
No, they just screwed in.
Oh, that's terrible. That's just bad design.
I was just thinking, paintbrushes, ink pens. That's the first time I'm using something hot. It didn't cross my mind that don't touch that thing.
Oh no, that's terrible. Okay. Well,
I remembered that for the next time. Got a little blister to remind me.
Oh boy.
So do tell us about the story. This is, there got to be smarter people in the story than I am in real life.
What?
Your story's got to be populated with smarter people than I am in real life, right?
I mean, I don't know. You seem very smart. I don't know. My main character's kind of an idiot, so.
Everybody gets their chance to be an idiot, and some people don't get their chance because I took their chance. I take everybody's chance when I can.
Oh boy! Well, we all do that once in a while. So.
Preston Acevedo in the chat says, "Great looking book," and that's coming from a guy who produces a great looking book. So,
thank you very much, sir. I suppose.
I'm surprised Preston hasn't painted a cover for you. What?
I would love to have guest covers. I'm just poor.
He paints covers for everybody. He's all over the place.
Oh, that's all. I'll check out his work after the stream. But I would love to have guest covers. I just like, first chapter, but for further chapters.
Further in, yes.
So many variants, it'll happen. I suppose I should actually talk about the story.
Something about it, yes.
Yes. So the premise is Fiendish is about a group of young men and women on a journey of vengeance against otherworldly monsters. And chapter 1 is just kind of laying the basics for the story, introducing the story through the point of view of Casimir, our main character. I have like a group of what I call like core characters. Like I have about like 4 characters that I count as protagonists, but one main character is probably like a bit of a weird structure, but I think it works for like the kind of story structure that I want. And for chapter 1, it's about how it introduces Casimir, and we see how as a child he was a sole survivor of a demon attack on his hometown, and after seeing Demon Slayer, I'm very happy because I'm like, ooh, my premise is similar, so maybe I'll be just as popular.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what'll happen.
So it's like Demon Slayer meets Berserk. So it's like Demon Slayer, but Norse and much more mature. So there you go. And also the monsters are like Cthulhu stuff. So Casimir is a sole survivor, as far as he knows, of a mysterious demon attack on his hometown. And he escaped far away. As far as he knows, like his family didn't survive, and he ran away and grew up somewhere else, and he tried to forget about his past. But years and years later, once he's grown up, one day one of these monsters shows up in the woods again, and no one has seen them before. Nobody knows where these monsters come from, because this is a fantasy world, but these kind of demons, monsters, aren't like a normal magical creature. So he decides that he can't run away from his past anymore. He has to go on a journey and find out where these monsters came from and go back to his hometown if necessary and put his family to rest. And he has a small group of other friends and other adventurers that have the same goal in mind, some for similar reasons, some for their own interests, but they band together and they go on this adventure. That's the first arc of the story. So I don't want to get too into it, but I have like everything planned out because I've been working on this for like 3 years now. So I wrote everything first, and so I know where I'm going, and then I'm drawing it.
You've got a book full of notes and a map and everything.
Oh gosh, I do have a map, and I don't know if you're joking. I do actually, and I have a language too. I'm a little crazy. So
now, what is that like creating a language? Because I tweeted somebody the other day, and she was like a PhD in languageology or whatever.
I'm not that.
It's etymology. I was like, it's a 2-hour movie. What kind of work do you go through to make a language that's going to last for the span of 2 hours during the times it's spoken? I mean, do you just basically say, here's some words and we're going to use them, and there's a one-to-one, this is going to mean that, and this is going to mean that, a simple transliteration? And she was like, oh, no, we go through, what sounds would transmit underwater for the Atlanteans. She was doing Justice League and Aquaman and books like that, stuff like that.
Right.
But like, I would have been like, what's the Aquaman language? It's English, and it just sounds like, what are you doing?
Yeah, there. That's what it sounds like. Oh my
Exactly.
gosh. That's amazing.
That's worse than I speak whale.
Well, I mean, it is Aquaman. I guess it would. Maybe whales understand it too.
They speak telepathically. Come on.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're a professional, so my process would not be like, well, this is the standard. I'm not a linguist. I don't know what I'm doing. But it is like, I do like languages a lot. I think if I wasn't doing comics, I would definitely do something with languages. So it's just this huge hobby of mine to like learn languages and learn the history of it. So to start out, I kind of just set like, well, the reason I created language is because this is a fantasy world that I'm building. And well, the fantasy world, even though the writing and, the actual text in the comic is going to be in English, so like obviously my readers can actually read it. I'm going to have, yes, but I'm actually going to have writing in the comic. Like I'll have to draw, writing and signs of when the characters write stuff. And I can't have that in English. That's not immersive. That just doesn't really make sense. So I figured it only made sense. It was only right for me to actually make a language. And for some locations that are further away and not central to the story, I can just like scribble some gobbledygook. But for the core location, like the main continent and the main culture where the characters are from, where most of the conflict takes place, the writing is so essential to the story because part of the story is about a scholastic pursuit, about like the mysteries of, magical arts, and like that kind of ties into the origin of the demons eventually. So, and I have a lot of my characters are also like shamans, and shamans, in my world, they cast magic, kind of like an FMA. They write out like a rune, and the rune is like a magic system that they cast their effects with. So I realized I had to make a cohesive language for that to work. And I'm just also kind of an obsessive person, so I spent way too much time on it. I definitely didn't need to do all this, but I'm happy, and I hope people
I get it. I
want to nerd out just as much as me.
I took 3 years of Latin because I loved, grammar
that's so
and,
cool.
and, language structure and all of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
so,
awesome.
You take 3 years of Latin, you suddenly a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Italian, because they all grew out of it.
Yeah.
Until you get to Germany, and then it's like, what the hell?
How did that happen?
Did you come from?
Well, but as a Germanic language is totally different.
Oh, yeah. In fact, there's a video I used to love watching. It was like, how to say different words in different areas of Europe, and it was hospital. British would be like hospital, Italian hospital, French hospital, Germany Krankenhausen. You're just 20 miles away. How did this not bleed over? Come on.
Yeah, that's very. But it is a different language family. There's a really cool YouTube channel that does like the evolution of languages. So you can see hear the evolution from like Proto-Indo-European to Latin to like German or something. Is very cool. You'd probably be interested in that.
Oh yeah, I could get lost in that for a while.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
I'm not going to go declining any sentences tonight, Captain Cockney Spock. Science is something I can't recall. It's been 40 years since I took the classes. Yes, I'm that old. Now, you first of all, you said that these are like Cthulhu. Are you keeping it like Cthulhu, or are you going to come out and flat out say Cthulhu and Nyarlathotep and?
It's like Cthulhu. Yeah, right. Because I do love Lovecraft, but I'm not being I don't want to be like on the nose with the influences. It's just sort of, they look like, Lovecraftian monsters, and like the sense of some of the horror that, not to spoil too much, but later on, like the origins of the demons and stuff references some of my favorite Lovecraftian stories, but like Cthulhu isn't a thing in my world. It's not tying into that mythos at all. Okay. It's a tribute.
And also there's the Celtic look. Is it is it Eastern? Is it Western Europe, or is it just like Western Europe?
Oh, it's like Western Europe. So I have
Okay.
a whole map of if it's on the website, you can take a look at it. So it's actually I wanted to draw from Northern Europe and Northern and Eastern Europe. So it's Norse and like generally Norse and Slavic culture. And I have an area that's also like Celtic, but I have like very little Romance and Latin influences. Most of like the continent, because I feel like even though my story is medieval, it's actually like the technology level is old medieval. So it's like very early medieval, kind of very a pagan culture type of situation. I didn't want to draw from so much because we see a lot of Southern Europe and even Western Europe. I want to do something a little different. So if you look closely, especially at the buildings, and I don't know how apparent it is in chapter 1, but there's a very heavy Slavic influence as well. So I was like, it's Vikings, but also Slavs. And I don't see a lot of people doing that influence in comics, probably besides from, The Witcher. But that's not a comic, but there's like, obviously, The Witcher is a Polish franchise, but that's something that I wanted to incorporate, and I'm part Polish, so I wanted to explore that as well.
Um,
Did I answer your question? I'm sorry, I just went on a long rant.
no, you did great. You did great.
Cool.
I was there. I was reminded of another story that was like Western Europe. Stuart Hill was the author of it. That's what I was struggling to. Who wrote it? Cry of the Ice Mark, and it was very much the Icelandic folk here had their fantasy setting, and they were being invaded by people with very, very Latin names. And it's like, okay, well, General Belarus is definitely Roman, and everybody who Cassius and all those people. I was like, so this is just you're just telling a story set in Western Europe. Why not make it Western Europe? Well, they didn't do that because when they got attacked, they went to the north of them and got the were-tigers to come down and help them. And from even farther north there was on the North Pole, the Vampire King in Spain. I'm like, oh, that's why it's a fantasy story set somewhere else, because
yes.
now we've left geography behind and it's totally different.
Yeah.
Your people are normal humans, though. I'm guessing throughout. Or do you wait? No, I saw an elven race on your cover.
Yes, yes. So I have several races. I have the human race, which they're, for all intents and purposes, they're like, our humans, but they have obviously a magical ability, which I call aural casting. So they can cast their auras and create magical effects, and it's a whole magic system. But that's something specific only to humans. Like the other, I have several sentient races. I have orcs, and I have this race called the devs. And they're species. I don't really like using race because that's kind of a D&D thing.
I was gonna say you're not allowed to have orcs. Yeah.
Oh no, I can't. But see, my orcs I invented my own thing, and that's a whole bunch of nonsense.
I know.
Yeah. So I have several sentient species in my story, but the types of special abilities are specific only to like a certain species. So the species you saw on my cover, which is the kind of purple girl, which is one of my major characters, she is a dev, and she kind of is. If you play D&D, she's kind of like a tiefling, but kind of not, because they also have their own abilities and whatnot. But yes, that's Yomi, the purple girl right on the bottom. So that's another sentient race in my world. And if you look at some of my other promo images, I have another girl with like red skin and green hair. She is actually like a special type of human who's basically extra magical. So kind of like high elves, but they're still humans. And they have like a special lineage from like a type of like higher, human who came and taught regular humans how to build a civilization. And that's taken from both kind of Nordic and Slavic mythology, but also that references the Anunnaki and Babylonian mythology. Because several cultures have the idea of like higher humans who came and taught civilization to like normal mortals. So that's my like higher human race. So, but she'll come in chapter 3. She's awesome.
Hang on a second. I'm going to go get my DVD of season 13 of Ancient Aliens that I've got to review yet. So we'll just throw that in and talk about the Anunnaki.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. Yes, let's get into it.
In fact, I had an interview with the cast and crew of an independent film, and it was aliens, and they're they were disguised as humans, and their leader was a woman named An Onaki. So it's like, that'll blend in. Who are you? I'm An Onaki.
That'll blend in.
I was looking for the girl with the red skin, and I was like, wait a second, all the pictures
she's
are
on
black
the-
and white.
Well, she's not in this chapter. Comes in chapter 3. But I've been like drawing because I had concept art of her, so I was like, she looks really cool. I'm so proud of her character. Also she's beautiful, and like I can't resist showing her off. So she's on the website already, and she'll.
Guess what?
I feel like
your website pulled up.
Yay! So if you click on the first one, the Fiendish page, and
now we're looking at some color pictures here, but are the pages in color? Because I've seen most of the pages are like grayscale.
If you can please click on the Fiendish main site, right on the bottom. Yeah, there you go. That's the full website just for the comic, so there's a lot more resources there.
Okay.
The comic right now is in black and white because I'm poor and I can't afford to pay a colorist, and I don't actually. I mean, I can do interior colors, but I'm terribly slow and I'm not particularly good at it. But I have a colorist lined up. You probably have seen some of the interior pages are in color, so I have a colorist, but. That's what our 10,000 stretch goal is. So if we can get the comic to $10,000, then the comic will be in full color at no extra cost to everybody. And that is something I would really, really love to see. We're at 6,600 or something right now. So I mean, 11 days ago, I don't know, but I can dream.
6,775.
Oh, look at that! It went up today! Yay!
Oh, you're doing a great job. What do you got? 11 days. You're gonna hit 7,000 easy. Let's go for 8.
8. So at 8,000, I'll include a sticker package. So that's our next stretch goal. But like the big one is 10,000. So I would just really love to see this in color. I don't know if it's possible. It's my first comic, crowdfunding campaign, but I would love to see it. I'm gonna keep on promoting and trying to get it there.
I'm with Preston. Leave it in black and white. It looks amazing.
Really? You think so?
A lot of the time, color just takes away so much of the detail, I think.
Okay.
I want to get back to some of the questions in the chat here, but I want to make sure I get the characters put up here. We've seen Casimir. This is Iskel. Am I saying that right?
Iskel.
Iskel.
Yeah. That's,
and then Yomi, she's the tiefling kind of character.
Yeah, but you know, Dev, Tiefling. Everybody's been calling them Tiefling, so I'm like, okay, it's fine. And that's Ragna.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't colored her yet, but if you go to the character profiles, you can see. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, definitely keep it just, that grayscale is awesome.
Oh, now, here, my image is her. I forgot. There you go. I'm silly.
There we go. Okay.
So
cool.
She'll be coming up in chapter 3, and she's an awesome character. I can't wait to draw her. But just for pacing purposes, I feel like I want people to really get to know the individual characters. I want people to really be immersed in Casimir's story, and then the next chapter is about Yomi, and then we get to slowly introduce the characters really thoroughly, because the first arc of my story is all about, because character is what's the most important thing. You can have the coolest concept, and I do think I have a cool concept, but what matters is people have to relate to the characters and want to root for them. So that's what I really work on. I want people to get to know who my main characters are.
Now, we had a question in the chat, and I wanted to talk about your project for a little bit before I got back to this one. I'm scrolling back. Harenberg was like, can Irene talk a little bit about what it's like to work for Marvel with the work you did on Deadpool, Silk, Venom? You don't look like a Venom artist.
But I don't look like an artist who draws Cthulhu things either.
I know.
I think that was a problem for me, though, honestly. I think working for Marvel, it was good money, and that's why I did it, because I was at the point where I went to art school, and I was lucky enough to always be doing art professionally. Once I graduated, I was working in animation and then gaming, but I realized after 5 years of that my major was sequential art, and I had this hankering, this urge to make comics, and I was at the point where I was willing to do anything to be able to just draw comics again. And this was before I had Fiendish, just before I really had, a comic idea of my own. I always knew I wanted to have my original comic, but I didn't have the life experience to really build something yet. So I just want to draw comics for a living. So I submitted my work through Marvel, and someone picked me up to do some backup issues for Gwenpool, and it just started from there. But I was mostly a backup and fill-in artist. And it was frustrating because I wasn't really put on anything that I think fit my style. I think people assumed a lot about what my style, what genre I would like to work in was. But, at the same time,
You're a monster girl.
yeah, I am. And I like drawing blood and gore and monsters. And I was never put on that. I was kind of pigeonholed in doing YA, and I feel like I could probably been more vocal and said something about it, but by the time I realized I was being pigeonholed, I had already realized I'm going to leave and not do Marvel anymore. So I didn't feel the urge to speak up. I just finished the work I had, and I was like, all right, I know what I want to do. I want to do an epic fantasy comic, and I have an idea of my own. I moved to Taiwan, took all my savings, and I literally holed up in Taiwan with I quit my job in the States, and I was just in this little apartment for 2 years writing Fiendish, and that's how I made it happen.
Were you just tired of Marvel, or are we crossing into NDA territory to talk about that any further?
It's probably a little NDA territory.
Okay.
But I will say I wrote a log rant on Twitter. It wasn't really a rant, but I'm not mad about it. I just realized it wasn't for me, and I mean that honestly.
Did you get to have any input into the stories you were working on, or was it more like shut up and draw kind of thing?
Oh, I was asked what I prefer. It depended on the writer. So the writers, everyone I worked with was very nice. But my problem was just I was never offered work that I actually liked, and I don't understand why they kept on putting me on. It wasn't just Gwenpool and Silk are kind of more YA books. And I worked on Edge of Venomverse, but it was the Gwenpool Edge of Venomverse issue. So after that, they actually started giving me work for actual kids books, like Marvel Superhero Adventures, and a couple of Miss Marvel series. We were definitely they sent style guides that were cutesy kitty stuff, and I think it was just because it had a manga influence. So it didn't really super matter what I said. I was like, yeah, I'll take this. Do you have anything else? But it didn't matter because that's what I was given.
Right, but I mean, as far as input, you didn't have any input to the stories that you were drawing for?
Not direct input, but all the writers I worked with were great to work with, and I remember Chris Hastings, at least, who he wrote Gwenpool. He would ask what do you think about this? Do you have any ideas? And on Silk, I was asked by the writer. His name escapes me now. I feel so bad. But I was asked what types of story do you prefer? And I was like, well, I prefer darker psychological stories, and that's what I got. I got the zombie takeover arc of Silk. So I feel like the writers did take into account what I want. I didn't have so much input into well, I don't agree with this character action, but the people would try to make sure that at least within the teams, once you got assigned to something, my experience was they didn't want you to be miserable.
Yeah, I mean, I've said before that you can always tell when a book's going downhill if the writer's boring the artist. And my example has always been John Romita Jr. I'm like, the man's a legend. He draws great stuff. And I'm watching his stuff in Action Comics. And I'm like, oh, he needs to retire because this stuff is real sketchy and it's hastily drawn and it's just phoned in. And then I saw him do a Catwoman piece in the 80th anniversary. I'm like, wait a second. This is a really good story. And he's the artist. Oh, I get it now. He's bored.
Right. Okay. So I will say I've been talking about working on Silk and Gwenpool and the Venomverse stuff. Once I got assigned to the Marvel Superhero Adventures and the really kiddie style, I was bored and I didn't have input on that at all. It was definitely pump this out. We need this in a week. Give me 10 pages. So that's kind of what I did, honestly. Feels like I could have I tried to push a little for more work that was like, this is my style, but at the same time, it wasn't working. And I already had my own idea at that point. I was starting to write Fiendish, so
Sure.
I had to stretch out.
Were you when you were younger? And I think you had to been like 2 when this came out. Have you ever had any exposure to ElfQuest? A fan of the Peenie's work? Because it looks like, according to Heroinberg, there's some classic Peenie character stylings with characters like Cutter and Lita in some of the things you draw, and those are ElfQuest characters.
No, I have no idea what that is. I do play a lot of D&D though.
Yeah, they weren't related to D&D, but they were definitely they were an 80s. Yeah, hang on. Yeah. Off to the Googles.
To the Googles. I should Google this myself too. ElfQuest. ElfQuest. Keep in mind, I also grew up in Taiwan, so there's a whole lot of American stuff I don't know.
Sure.
Oh,
So you grew up in Taiwan, came over here, went back to Taiwan, and then came back here?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I kind of just moved back and forth, but I grew up in Taiwan until I was there until I was 17. I came here for college. I worked for a bit. I moved back purely to save money because I was like, I need, because Taiwan is a lot more affordable to live in, so I could just survive off freelance. And it's like, I don't like to, I'm very independent. I hate having to go back and live with my family, but it was like for the sake of being able to concentrate on my comic and write my comic, I'm gonna have to do that. So I went back for 2 years, and now I'm back in the States.
Okay. Not that we're not happy to have you here, but could you not do the book in Taiwan?
I can't. I feel like my audience is still in America. There is a very big comic audience in Taiwan, but I still don't feel like my style fits what people look for there. So my audience is definitely in the U.S. And also, I moved back here with the original intent of being able to go to conventions and promote my book, but then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So there's that as well.
Tell me about it. That reverb thing that I've heard on your mic at the beginning of the show, it's back. The audience is hearing it too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Should I leave and come back again?
Lots of echo. Hang on, let me do it. There, how's that?
Hi. Is it still here? You know what? I think I can hear it too.
Actually, that's the clearest I've heard you for a few minutes now.
Okay. I don't hear it anymore. Okay. I don't know.
What I was hearing was like a kitchen timer. And it would wind down, and it was just like a tick 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 tick.
It only happens with StreamYards. It's starting to be nuts.
There it goes. It's like there's a woodpecker somewhere.
I don't hear anything.
And what? Turn your head to the left. Because when you were turning to get the woodcuts before, it would stop, and then it would come back when you came back around. So I don't know. I hear it. I don't know why.
Oh God, Chad, do you hear the clicking sound? I'm so sorry. I don't know what's up. It literally only happens on StreamYards because I'm on Discord all the time and it's fine.
Speak to us, chat. Does anybody else hear the tap 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 tap?
Oh, heaven save me! I got these nice headphones and stuff.
The chat can't hear us.
Oh no!
The chat has gone silent.
No response.
We know you're there. We can see the I can see the eyeballs. Yes, they hear the ticking, rattling sound. Okay, so it's not just me.
All right, I'll pop out and come back.
All right. And while we wait, let's just show off some more of this beautiful artwork here, and encourage folks to click on. If you haven't clicked on this yet, go check it out. It's the link is in the description below, and it won't take you out of here. Woodpecker audio confirmed. I'm not hearing it now.
Okay, we're okay for now. Technical difficulties.
We're okay for a while. We're okay. I want to scroll down to the bottom here, and rather than get into the tiers and the perks and stuff, I want to get to the stretch goals because we're past the tiers and perk. We're closing in on big stretch goals now. Now you do have add-ons, so those are kind of cool.
Yes, I do. Oh, I have to edit that.
What's wrong?
The 10 copies, that's a retailer perk. That's not technically an add-on, so that What I should have there is my regrowth art book instead, but it's fine. It's not a big deal.
That's fine. It's 11 days to go anyway. What's the point? It's over.
No.
And I've seen you showing off the demon standee on your Twitter page. So you've got those in the little acrylic stand-ups.
Yes. There'll be like little 4 inches, a little, because I want to make some toys of like demons and characters to go with this project. But I thought I started with something simple and more affordable that I can do. So standee. Yeah.
Did I ever send you to my 3D printing guy?
Oh yeah. That is something I'm considering, but it's for like future chapters. So I would still love to work with him.
They'd make great little like 2-inch D&D characters.
Oh yeah, that's yes.
Make sure they fit on a hexagon, and we're good.
I have all these ideas because like my comic is a lot like a D&D campaign, and I have like magic systems. So I'm like, okay, as the project progresses, I'm gonna like have custom dice that has like the numbers are written in my constructed language. I'm gonna have like little like 2-inch characters, minis of my characters, and I have a whole lot of ideas.
Somebody tweeted something that was mind-blowing, and it was all about ancient war in ancient Roman times, and it was all about that it was with the XP was what they were fighting for or fighting with, and they actually had a 20-sided die with different runes on it. I was like,
what?
and they showed photos of these metallic 20-sided die with these weird rusted carvings on the side of them.
I need to look into this. What is this?
I'll find it and tweet it to you later. Pop Culture Avenger said he'd be interested in a Fiendish map for a future campaign. So yeah, if you've got maps drawn out,
that is coming. That is coming. Yes, the map will be part of a future campaign. If you want to show everyone the map, that's also on the Fiendish website. So if you just go to the World Map tab, there you go.
And the timer is back.
Oh gosh, this is such a failure.
I have no idea what it is. It's just there. It's not like we can't hear you or understand you. It's there. It's literally like a little yellow kitchen timer that you just wind up and let it sit on the counter, and I'm waiting for the ding to happen.
This is so frustrating. I have no idea what it is. I can't hear it on my end at all.
Catch it on the playback.
Okay.
So this is the world,
Sorry,
and
yes.
right away I can tell you we need hexagons.
Yes, we do.
I'm kidding.
I will grid everything out, and I'll chart out all the terrain.
No, this is cool. Now, have you how much work went into the thought of your continental plates and climate and all that stuff?
A little bit, not so much the continental plates. I just made sure I wasn't breaking like crazy rules of geography. But mostly what I was concerned with was like having the climate and the landscape be realistic, and also what was also I had to balance the climate and sort of the landscape being geographically feasible and kind of travel routes and locations fitting how I wanted my story to progress, because my story it's like a D&D campaign. It's about characters traveling from one location to the other in search of pursuing what's behind a mystery. So like travel times and locations and what are the capitals and where are the big kingdoms, that's very important. So like that and that of course dedicates your river routes and where your coastlines are. So it took a lot of tries. This is like my 8th draft of the map. But I think I've settled on this.
This is a very cynical world. I mean, you've got the bitter sea, and you've got the ocean of omens. Where's Happiness Bay? I mean, come on.
I think even if I had a Happiness Bay, it would actually be named ironically.
There's Dragon's Bay in the gap. But geographically speaking, this it's sound looking. I mean, you've got mountains, and then right to the east of the mountains, you've got desert, which tracks with what happens, on Earth geography, because, it comes from the west, weather goes up, it goes up the mountain, it drains all the moisture. There's nothing coming down the other side, so it gets no rain.
I try to make it, feasible overall.
There's more. I half expect to be able to click on this and I'll look at this and zoom in.
Oh, you can zoom in. Yeah, that's just a close-up of the, our continent of Argos. It's where everything starts. So we start smack dab in the middle of Arbos in the mountains.
I thought I was going to click on it and see like weather patterns, just like moving across it like a GIF file.
Oh
or
no,
GIF file.
that's coming in 4 months. Yeah,
In 4 months. Okay.
It'll happen. I'll have a whole like Google Earth style, globe and everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Be a rotating globe. And
I'm kidding now, but you never know. Honestly, I'm tempted.
Well, we're at 70. We're going to hit $7,000 on this thing real quick. $8,000. You've already got the projects funded. Everyone's getting the desktop and phone wallpaper package.
Yeah.
You've got spot gloss on the title text.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to unlock that Fiendish sticker package. So what are the stickers? Do you have those handy and available, or?
Oh, I will reveal those. Probably when we get to 7K, I'll reveal them. But
okay.
I think it'll, this the little demon from the standee will be one of them. A couple like little cute versions of the characters, and just the Fiendish logo.
Gotta have the logo.
So people can show it off. Yeah,
as I keep telling people, if you're going to do stickers, do the logo, because people can Google a logo.
Yes.
They might think your character's really cool if they pass somebody with it, but they don't know what to look up.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, the logo will be there.
We want this thing to stop right at $9,999.
Okay. Well,
so that she doesn't have to color it.
If that's what the audience wants, if my idea was everyone would still get a black and white version, but they'll get it digitally if we do get to 10K. But it depends. I might, if a lot of people want to see it in black and white, I might have the digital version be in color and the printed version being black and white. So it'll just depend on whatever the customers want. I am listening.
Now, this is one of the few campaigns too where I see that you have the retailer perk. Only one has been claimed. That's
yeah, I know. I had a couple people ask, so I made it. Then I only had one person claim it. I'm a little sad.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people make them afterwards and send them out like secret perks, secret tier. Send this to retailers so they get in and get it. But I don't know.
It's a good deal too.
Yeah,
it's 40% off.
The best way to get them to retailers is to go through a distribution system.
Yeah, you have to find a distributor and everything. I'm just starting out. I ain't got
Hi.
that. Hi. Hello. Oh, okay. Hello. Shall we be doing business, sir?
Oh well, yes. Yeah. We're what we're doing. Did I tell you about what we're doing last time we talked?
Actually, not much.
Okay.
No.
Well, when we talked, I said, "Hey, have you met my 3D guy? And what stickers are you doing?" Because one of the things I do is I spend other people's money when we chat, and tell them what to put on their campaign. Well, when I talk with the overseas folks, they're always like, the shipping is out of this world and there's nothing we can do about it. And I was going into my usual sales mode. It was like, well, why don't you? And I was like, no, wait, this is my thing. I can do this. So we set up the logistics portion of our business. And now we have people like Kimasabi, the man called Kimasabi, who's doing the company men. He's doing it out of Australia. And instead of being $25 for shipping, we're doing it for $12 per book shipping to the US, because he's going to send them all here in one big bulk, and then we're going to parcel them out and send them out.
Oh, awesome.
So we're working with Canada and England and Australia right now, partners doing that and bringing their shipping down, so that people don't go to the campaigns and say, nope, I'm not going to buy it because it costs too much. So it increases their sales.
Right. So you are a distributor.
Well, at that level, we're the fulfillment agency, but we're also keeping all the overstocks. And I have lots and lots of contacts with lots and lots of LCS folk. And I'm going to be saying, hey, we have an inventory of overstock of these crowdfunded, low print run independent comics that you can't get anymore. And a lot of them are imports. How many do you want? And by the way, you don't have to pay that shipping fee that you see on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, because we'll get you 2 of this, 1 of these, 3 of those, 5 of this, and it'll come in one box. And then all the money will go back to the creators, and we'll make the money on the shipping, and they don't have to pay a ton for shipping because
that's how you drive costs. Yeah, if you have multiple creators and multiple books, it's easier to just ship multiple of them, like a whole stack of indie comics out, instead of just
it's exactly
the creator
what
managing
does.
their own stuff on their own. Yeah, that's fantastic. So you're a distributor and fulfillment center for indie creators.
Exactly. And while it was set up for the foreign market to come into the US, I've had a number of US creators says, I know it's going to cost us more to have you do it than us do it ourselves, but that's 2 to 3 weeks where we can actually be working on our next book instead of stuffing envelopes. Like,
Right on.
if it's worth it to you, it's worth it to me. So,
Right. I mean, I would consider probably just for be able to get the books into LCSs. That's kind of difficult for me. I've been shopping my books to like all the LCSs in my area and like 30, 40 minutes away, but it's hard. You know, I have like me and like 3 friends, so
yeah.
it's difficult.
Well, once they actually see a printed book in their hand,
Yeah.
you can say, hey, you can carry this in your store. And plus, you've got Marvel on your resume. That should be like a door opener at the very least.
A little bit, yeah. It's like, ooh, you actually know how to draw now.
Yeah. It's
That's the only reason I work for them.
So the biggest tier that people are going after, of course, is the book, and that's the most important part of the campaign. T-shirts are cool, multiple copies are cool, but get the book. Everything else can be an add-on now. I mean, the way they've changed it, I think people's campaigns are going to be shifting away from this, 17 different tiers of different ways to mix the same 5 things together. It should be like, here's the book, click through it, and now add on whatever you want and however many of them you want.
Yeah, I feel that. That's very tempting to do in the future. Oh, and by the way, I feel like I should mention, because I haven't said yet, the book is 46 story pages. So it's a big book because I'm doing large size chapters and with at least 10 pages of extra content. So it's going to be like 56 to 58 page, nice big book. So not just one floppy issue. And Pop Culture Avenger asked, do the preview books come with the retailer pack? They do not, but they are available as add-on for all tiers.
There you go. And that's why add-ons are so good. I can't imagine trying to put together a campaign and trying to think of all the different permutations, saying, okay, we'll have a book and a poster with this one, and a book and a sticker with this one, and a sticker and a poster and a book with this one. I was like, no, just put up a store.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, so we're reaching the top of the hour here, and you've already answered one question that I was, not cognizant of asking, and that was the page size. It was 46 pages of story. How many pages is it total? You're going to have 8 pages of extra content. Look at that. Reading is fundamental.
Oh, I have to update that. That's up 10 pages now because I have no self-control.
So now you're at 56 pages.
Yes, 56. And so the extra content will have some pages of the pencils, I saved the drafts, my pencil drafts, but also character designs, early sketches of characters, how you can see how they started out, and just, extra posters. Like I have a couple guest posters and also my extra drawings. I have like this really cool t-shirt I did that, just like a design thing that's also on the back cover, but and probably the map. I'm not sure about putting the map in chapter 1 yet, but I'm just going to throw all this concept stuff in the back, so it'll be nice and juicy.
If you wanted it to be really, really hard to print and really expensive to print, but do something different, you'd put the map in the first chapter and take up those next 4 pages with a 4-page fold out.
Oh boy. Yeah, so that's going to be our new 10,000 stretch goal. It's the map pull out.
It's just like, you open up the center of the book, and then you open it up on both sides again, and there it is, 4 pages across, the world map.
That would be epic, but I have no idea how to do that. My printer will probably just have an aneurysm.
Yeah, that's the printer's problem. It's not your problem. They figured out. They did it for X-Men #1, by God. They can figure out how to do it again.
That's true.
It's not like you're asking them to fold out the cover. This is an insert, for crying out loud.
It's not my problem. Dear God.
Yes. That's what you pay the printer for.
Exactly.
Here's pages. Figure out how they go together.
Yeah, I have an idea now. You will make it happen. Don't argue.
I'm guessing you're also going perfect bound with 46 pages.
Yeah.
Rather than stapled.
Yeah, it'll be perfect bound.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Is there anything else we should know about Fiendish before we check out here tonight?
It's super cool, and you should follow the website. I have an Instagram as well. I'm so bad at promoting myself. I do have an Instagram for Fiendish, so it's just fiendish.comic, and the website is like a nice center for all the world building information, and I have a preview section on the website. So I have 20 pages of the first chapter, so almost half the first chapter on the website as preview if you're having doubts about getting this comic. So you can take a look for yourself, read the story, look at the art, see if you like it. And by the way, the entire book is done. So I don't think I mentioned that, but it's finished art, so there's no risk of you not getting your product.
Oh, that is very cool. So with it being done and 11 days left to go, are you you're going to go in demand for a little while?
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay, because you got an August delivery date, so you got plenty of time now.
Oh yeah, August for the standard, just everything except for the wooden plaques. So the plaques are handmade. It's going to take me a while to make them, but everything else is going to be delivered by August.
Now,
so I'll print a little over in demand.
Are you signing the plaques?
Yes, they're signed in the back.
On the back, okay. Because I was going to say this.
Yeah.
Like, hang, I didn't get the mouse moving yet.
Sorry. Oh, I'm just in a hurry. Look.
I see. Okay. I got two screens here, and sometimes I don't know where my mouse is at, and I've got to shake it around a little bit till I see motion.
Oh, I know the feeling. Yeah, the plaques will be signed. Also, the comics will be signed by default. So.
Perfect. Oh, good. I love signed comics.
Yes.
You've got new followers on Twitter now after this. Twitter level unlocked.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
I just refreshed the Indiegogo. We did not make you any money tonight, Irene.
Oh, it's okay. You tried.
I'm so very sorry about that. We had
Got Twitter follower.
No shake and bake moments. Captain Cockney Spock. He is another YouTuber you should get to know.
Cool.
Get on his channel and have a British audience get exposed to your book.
Ooh,
and
I would love to.
Then they can all sit around and say, "Oh, she got that wrong. She totally off with this."
Yeah, it's
because it's their
well.
continent. So.
Oh, it's fine. I accept all criticism. It is fantasy. It's a fantasy version, but it's okay. You can criticize me.
That's always something that has stood out to me, and I don't talk about it a whole lot. Is that all our fantasy, it seems, is based in Britain and in Europe.
That too.
We're with this huge, great big continent over here, and we got all these Native American tribes and the Great Spirit. And what do we have? We go back to Ireland. We go back to England.
That too.
That's where the magic is.
That's why I'm still doing Europe. I specifically didn't want to do this is just medieval England, Not that, that's just anything wrong with that, but it is kind of an aesthetic that's been done before. I do wish we had more Native American stuff. There's also, coming from someone who's not into culture, I'm always afraid of getting things wrong. It's much easier to find resources in English on the European stuff just because of the language and everything. But I would love to see more fantasy in other cultures. That would be great.
It'd be interesting if the world had gone in reverse and America, that North America had been the populated central of the world. And they all sailed east and discovered Europe.
Oh boy, yeah.
and then there would be tales there of remember back in the old country, the hairy man of the woods and the magic stories about him and the giant man with the axe who cut down trees. None of this fairies and magic and Merlin stuff. It'd be all American.
You do wonder, don't you? Yeah, that would be super interesting. Well, I consume a lot of Chinese fantasy, but that's because I can read Mandarin. So, but it doesn't really come to America. It's in Asia, they have their own fantasy.
It is the most popular language in the world, so.
Yes, it's a lot of Chinese people.
All right, well, we have reached the top of the hour, so I'm going to let you go. I truly appreciate you coming on the show again and letting us talk a little bit more about Fiendish. I do hope that when Fiendish #2 is ready to go, you will keep us in mind and come talk to our audience again.
I definitely will. Thank you so much for having me on, and I would be so happy to come back on.
Everybody, go out and back Fiendish if you're watching this on the replay. The link for the Indiegogo and the link for RenieDraws.com is right down there below in the description. And while you're down there, if you want to hit that thumbs up button, fine. If you want to hit the thumbs down button, fine. I don't mind either way. I'm not going to push. I don't. She's great at self-promoting. I'm not. I'm terrible at self-promoting. I hate saying, give me, thumbs up or, hey, send me super chats, which you can't do until we get 11 more hours of watch time. So if you really want to help the channel out, pick a playlist, mute your screen, go to bed, leave the computer on all night. Just one of you doing that would be Awesome.
I will do that. I will open a bunch of incognito tabs and do that just for you.
Thank you so much. We're
Yeah.
going to be 4,000 tomorrow.
Woo!
All right, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for showing up tonight. We do hope that you'll go out and back Fiendish. And as always, we just hope that when you came here, you had